Around the SEC, brought to you by Precision Chemical and Equipment. Come check out our selection of Exmark, Yazoo keys, and Dixon zero-turn radius mowers, located 1/2 mile south of Segan on Airline Highway. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Seniors Greg Childs and Jarius Wright were back at work Tuesday after missing Saturday's win over Troy. Wright had sprained his knee against New Mexico. Childs left last week dealing with the death of his grandmother. Both are expected to play at Alabama this week. Bobby Petrino, though, not offering up much of an update today on the status of senior defensive end Jake Beckett for the Bama game. He missed last week's game with a hamstring injury. Petrino said, quote, "We still don't know. He keeps getting better. He's working hard and getting better every day." Petrino reiterated today he thinks this is the most talented defense he's had since he's been at Arkansas, and a big part of that, of course, is Jake Beckett.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Linebacker Dante Hightower was asked about Arkansas's offensive line Tuesday and said that he thought the Hogs were better run blockers up front this season than pass blockers. Quote, "I feel like we're going to have to use that to our advantage whenever it comes down to pass rushing situations. Me and Courtney Upshaw are probably going to have to go after that guy a little bit more." That guy they're talking about is true freshman Mitch Smothers, who's playing one of the tackle spots this season at Arkansas. Alabama has just 4 sacks in 3 games. Hard to believe, but just 4 sacks in 3 games. Meanwhile, Arkansas allowed 3 sacks last week against Troy. That battle in the trenches and whether or not they can protect Tyler Wilson is certainly going to be an interesting matchup this weekend.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Sophomore linebacker Chris Hughes has been active in practice, but Dan Mullen would not confirm whether he'd see the playing field for the first time during the 2011 season this weekend. Hughes was one of 5 players suspended for the season-opening win at Memphis, but after playing in 11 games this past season, he's yet to make the dress list for any of the first 3 this year. Meanwhile, Mullen did say junior Tobias Smith set to have season-ending knee surgery tomorrow. That's the offensive lineman that was injured in the first quarter of the LSU game.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Safety Jakar Hamilton is leaving the Georgia football program. He's a former JUCO transfer. He was sitting out this year via medical redshirt due to a stress fracture in his ankle. Hamilton said he plans to transfer at this point, doesn't know where he might end up. Quote, "I just felt like I needed a new start and start fresh with another team." Meanwhile, Mark Richt stopped short of saying that it had reached a point of critical mass where the Bulldogs had to find a way to play both Hudson Mason and Aaron Murray. Mason, though, has created a bit of a buzz, making his first appearance of the season against Coastal Carolina this past weekend. He was 6 of 9 for 68 yards and a touchdown in less than a quarter of play. On the injury front, starting free safety Bakari Rambo had to leave practice with an injury Tuesday. He did come back wearing a non-contact jersey. Also, 3-way threat Brandon Boykin left practice briefly to have his right ankle wrapped, but he did return.
The Auburn Tigers.
Gene Chizik said Tuesday morning that Auburn was going to simplify its defense. Defensive back Demetrius McNeil said the new plan is, quote, "Just run and hit from here on out. Not so many play calls will be called." Seems logical enough. Gene Chizik also said he wants to see Mike Dyer get more carries. Gus Malzahn agrees, quote, "He's a workhorse kind of guy. He can definitely handle more carries. This certainly will help." Auburn, usually with a very physical practice on Tuesday, took a different tack this week. Gene Chizik said, quote, "We have a stretch coming up, and we're trying to keep our guys fresh." Pretty obvious.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And defensive tackle Mark Crawford remains on suspension and will not play this week against Florida. Joker Phillips said every week we try to evaluate that and come up with a decision. He has not played yet this year. But there is someone who will be playing for Kentucky next year, picking up their 20th commitment for 2012. Georgia athlete Fred Tiller chose Kentucky yesterday. He's 6'1", 178 pounds, a wide receiver / defensive back from Homerville, Georgia. He's a 3-star prospect, had offers from Nebraska, Kansas, Mississippi State, East Carolina, and Marshall. And one basketball note, another year, another great guard commits for John Calipari at Arkansas. This time it's Archie Goodwin, 6'4" shooting guard from Little Rock, ranked as the number 12 recruit in the country by Rivals. Also had UConn, Kansas, Arkansas, and Memphis on his final list. There you have it. That is around the SEC.